Welcome to the Orange Hammer Podcast. My name is Corbett Storick. I've been a licensed general contractor for 8+ years, specializing in new construction, renovation, furniture building. I'm the son of an architect and an interior designer, and I've been surrounded in this industry since birth, watching all aspects from concept, design, build, punch list, and of course, all the problems that come up in between. In my time in Durham, North Carolina, I've noticed a significant gap in knowledge between homeowners who need work and the people who do the work. On this podcast, I hope to break down the process of homeownership from the perspective of both the homeowner and the contractor in an effort to help raise the knowledge of homeowners about their homes and the construction/renovation process. I hope you enjoy. If you're enjoying the Orange Hammer Podcast, or if you have a topic that you want covered, or have recently done a project, please contact the Orange Hammer Podcast. The Orange Hammer Podcast is on Instagram and Facebook. Please like and subscribe, share on whatever platform you're enjoying your podcast on. Also, check out our YouTube channel, The Orange Hammer. The Orange Hammer Podcast is proud to be brought to you by CRS Contracting LLC for all your construction and handyman needs, new buildings to renovations, furniture building, EV charger install, or even a TV mounted. You can call me, Corbett Storick. It'd be my pleasure to help you. You can find me on Instagram at CRS Contracting. WSDG, the Walter Storick Design Group, specialists in architectural and acoustical consulting. Check out WSDG.com. And Taylor Bragg, for all your artistic needs in all mediums. You can find her on Instagram at brag_about_art. That's brag, BRGG, with 2 G's. She's the fantastic artist behind the Orange Hammer logo, and she did my fantastic table painting of my podcasting table. All right, welcome to the podcast, Mary and Linden. How are you both doing today?
So good. Thanks for having us.
Doing well, thanks. You?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for coming. We're joined in the studio, ladies and gentlemen, as always, by our four-legged furry companion, Willie Bear, the studio dog. But he knows y'all longer than this podcast even exists. I mean, you guys have been, I think Willie has been equal fans of you as him for how many years now? Like 6?
We go way back.
Yeah.
Way back.
You guys, y'all are boys.
I think coming up on 6 years. Yeah,
coming up on 6 years.
We bought the house in October 5.5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
2017.
It's so crazy to think, like, it was yesterday in my head because I still, like, I'm sure you both feel the same way. Like, the pandemic, like, you forget that you lost, like, 2 entire calendar years of your life. But, like, you have conversations with friends and you're like, remember when we did that thing, like, one day or 4 years ago? And they're like, dude, it was 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, what planet are you on? Yeah. So, okay, well, jumping right in. First, I just have to comment before we jump right in. You have 2 neighbors who both do podcasts.
Yes.
Like, that's pretty cool. I just have to, like, point that out. Yeah. I mean, we are big fans of Lauren and her podcast.
Going big.
Although hope that I will never be on her podcast.
As a subject matter.
Yes.
Yes. Because she does like a Murder Inc. podcast. Or
it's called Criminal.
It's called Criminal. Forgive me, Lauren. Sorry, I should know. It's called Criminal. We're big fans of Lauren. We're big fans of her podcast. But yes, hopefully we are never the subject matter of like, and then the podcaster got murdered by the other neighbor, and then it's the story of us. Yeah,
pretty cool neighborhood though. Pretty cool neighborhood.
Yeah, I would like to think so for sure. So let's jump right into your experience with home buying. This home that is up the street, is that y'all's first home?
Absolutely, for both of us.
Okay. Oh, for both of you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So both go from the world of renting where you're just watching money light on fire / never have enough space and are not building equity, all those negative things that everybody hates. And what was the like life event that made you think about getting a house? Was it you two meeting? Had you been together for a while? Like, What made you start shopping for a home?
Well, so we first moved in together. We lived in Durham, and then Mary moved to a different restaurant. So she started working in Greensboro for a little while, and we moved to Mebane, and we rented in Mebane for a little while.
Okay.
And once we started renting in Mebane, we realized that we are Durhamites. We don't want to live anywhere else. And we realized that was like going to be a big thing. So we figured we may as well go ahead and buy a house because there's no reason to keep renting if we're sure this is where we want to be.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I'm a Durhamite. I'm a fan as well. Was it like Durham? I don't know how to phrase the question. Like, I'm not trying to shit on Mebane at all, but like, was Mebane shitty or is Durham just better?
Durham is much more progressive. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
As
yeah.
this is not a visual medium, I will point out that Mary and I are a biracial lesbian couple, and there aren't a ton of those in Mebane.
Right. We are in the South.
Yes.
Like, we're progressive people, but we are in fact in the South. Durham is a beautiful progressive bubble that
Yes.
we're all happy to be
Right.
inside of, but we're not blind to the fact that, Virginia's 40 minutes away. Yeah. So that is a realistic situation. Yeah. Mebane is a little more out in the cut, as my friend would say. Good if you want to, go to a gun store. Not good if you want to be, you guys out there for
Exactly.
sure. So you start shopping for a home. Durham becomes the clear choice.
Yes.
Do you have home like preferences? Or actually, I guess I should ask, like, how do you guys start? Do you have a realtor that you look up? Do you have a friend who's a realtor? Like, what's the process like for you guys?
It started because, well, first of all, let me point out that I'm also 8 years older than Linden. So I had been looking into the home buying process quite a while longer than she had. I'll put it
Oh,
that
okay.
way.
So kind of independently, you were kind of already like maybe like,
It's like, yeah, I have to
searching
start renting.
Zillow.
I
And
have to start renting, yeah. And then we got approved through Quicken Loans. And I thought, oh, that's cool. I got approved for X amount. That's great. Let's start looking for houses since we're looking to move back to Durham anyway. So that was the first step of the process, just getting approved and, having that filter our search. And
okay. So you don't even think about a realtor. You just go right to financial. You're like, okay,
No.
we need.
No, we met with Ginger first.
Oh,
Did we?
Yeah, we definitely met with Ginger first because when we met with Ginger, she said, I would love to work with you, but I can't really do anything until you get approved. So here
kinda
are the
makes
places for you to like go get approved.
that makes sense though, because Ginger, like, she wants to work smarter, not harder, right?
Exactly.
So
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
if she shows you an $800,000 house and you fall in love, and then the bank goes, you're max at 500,
Right.
you're gonna be upset at her that she showed it to you, but it's not really on her. So
Right.
that does make sense that she would want to do that. So you kind of have a conversation with Ginger, who's the realtor. Didn't Jessica
Yes.
also? You're right, Jessica, who did an episode. She had nothing but great things to say about Ginger. I think I even met her at that one house
Ginger's awesome.
that we looked at for Jessica
Yeah.
that she didn't like end up
Yes.
getting. I think I met her for like a half a second. So you talk to her, and then she intelligently is like, love to work with you, but we need to talk finance.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, Quicken Loans, and just I haven't gone through that kind of process. Is that easy? Is it hard? Is there a lot of
It
people
was
involved? Is it annoying?
So streamlined and easy to use.
Yeah, she said as far as first-time home buyers go, it's one of the easiest ways to do it because they are used to that and they are sort of tailored to that. So they have all of the steps lined up for you. Like, check this box, move on to the next box.
Gotcha. Very cool. Okay. That's really good to know, because I started this podcast thinking about how to educate people who already owned homes, because so many people would hire me to come out to give a bid and they wouldn't understand how things were like connected. But also at the same time, like new/first time home ownership is a huge topic. And I don't really know of anybody who's flat out been like, hey, first time home buyer, go to Quicken. Like, they are kind of like, they're willing to take y'all in, because there are quite a few financial institutions who will finance for a mortgage, but don't like first time home buyers.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like a weird bias, because, this is not a political podcast, but the world is trying to keep renters renting, because
Exactly.
they
Yeah.
that's what's happening. So, do you remember what you get financially approved for? Both of you work relatively like full time, right?
Yeah, I think it was 200,000 initially.
And this you said was
I
like
think it was-
6 years ago?
Yeah, 6 years. A little less than 6, because it moved pretty quickly from us getting approved for the loan amount to actually closing. It was within the same calendar year, so.
Because I'm just thinking like a house for $200,000 today
Right.
versus 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it's not
And
even the
Very
same.
different landscape.
Well,
Very
and
Yeah.
that was a filter we put on ourselves.
Mhm.
That was the most that we were willing to go for. That's what we asked for. We didn't say, here's our finances. What's the highest number you can give us? We said, can you finance us for this amount of money?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And so out of curiosity, like what's the thought process on that?
I'm afraid of giant loans, and that was the number where my heart rate started going a little too high.
With the monthly payment.
Okay.
Yeah, with the monthly
So
payment.
so I'm just out of curiosity, like, in the hypothetical world, you go to John Doe financier and say, can you finance us for $200,000? And he says, we don't operate that way. And then he takes all of your financial information and he says, we can finance you for a max of $210,000. Like your heart rate changes at the $10,000. Okay.
I mean, not anymore, but at the time, yeah. I was,
Yeah.
well, and I'd never had a big loan before, and this was a big step,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, Linden is one of those rare people that has zero student debt.
yes.
So
Me too.
she's not used to having all that.
Thanks,
debt.
Mom and Dad.
Thanks, Grandpa Les. No, I mean, I get the heart rate. Like my mortgage was not $200,000, but it was, well over $100,000, and it was nuts. Like when I was actually signing those papers, I was not excited. I was only scared.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh man, this is real. Like there's
Yes.
a lot of zeros. So there's no judgment. I'm just asking. Like, so you just kind of in your heart, brain, head, whatever you want to call it, you were like 200,000. That's it. I cannot do more than that. That's a number. So then you go to the financier, which I don't actually know, but it seems like that's generally not the way. Because I would imagine you just kind of give them your info and go, what's our max?
The
Or a lot
thing
of people
is-
might do that, maybe.
Absolutely.
Maybe it was just with Quicken, but I think they
Yeah.
did ask us like what range we were looking at
Okay.
to see if we would qualify for that.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's
But like
cool.
I said, it was almost 6 years ago, so
Well, still, it's relevant though, because there are definitely there is something to be said about maybe not taking the mortgage out that maxes you. Like
Absolutely.
just because you can spend a 240, maybe you should back it to 200.
Absolutely.
So you guys just, you had something in your brain that was just like 200 is the max. And, obviously your gut was correct. I mean, you have such a great house. So you then go back to Ginger, I assume, and say
yes.
200K max, start shopping.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many houses does she send you? How many do you look at?
She sends quite a few.
For how many months are you looking at houses?
I can't remember, and I really thought at the time that I would remember that entire process so well,
As
but
you were stressed
I don't.
out.
I was very stressed out. I'd say ballpark 15 houses
Yeah. That we actually
toured.
Yeah, they were actually looked at.
Yeah.
That actually stepped inside of
Right.
15.
Yes.
Okay. So she probably sent you at least 40 of them
Oh,
on
for
the
sure.
internet.
Oh,
yeah.
a lot.
I gotcha. Okay. So 15 houses. Okay. And so now focusing on the house, what about that one spoke to you? Because it's a unique property.
It definitely is. It's
Yeah.
we lucked out for sure. Its proximity to downtown was a big factor for us.
Oh, our neighborhood location is almost impossible, especially when you're like, wait a minute, you have more than a half acre and you can't really see your neighbors when the trees are in, and but then you
Exactly.
can take a 10-minute $12 Uber and be at the bowls. Like, it's
awesome.
it really does have the best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was a big factor.
And we were looking for wildly different things, and it was the closest thing to in the middle that we could come up with.
A
Okay,
very
so what
varying taste.
were some of the things that you were looking for?
So I was looking for land, an older house. I didn't want anything new. I didn't want anything modern. I was violently opposed to an HOA.
Yeah.
And I was also violently opposed to any kind of a neighborhood, especially ones that have like cute names.
Like Sunnybrook.
Oh, or like, where the streets are all named after like flowers or something. I was just like, no, I don't want to do that.
So you're moving to Florida. No, kidding.
Yeah.
Rose Avenue around from.
Yeah. But I grew up in an old farmhouse in the middle of nowhere on a giant farm, and that was just kind of that's what home was to me. That's what felt homey to me.
So you're trying to recreate, your homey vibe.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think it's crazy to want to recreate that homey vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what were you looking for? Because you said drastically different.
Different, yeah.
What kind of things are you looking for that are like?
I like modern.
Okay.
I love new construction. I love houses that are relatively close together in newer neighborhoods, and definitely wanted a 2-car garage, which I kind of got. We met in the middle in that. It's detached, the garage that we have now. That was really it. I think I wanted 2 stories.
No pine trees.
No pine trees. I hate pine needles so much.
Yeah, they're real bad for the gutters.
I cannot stand them.
So what was the preference for? I understand the want for hominess. So my questions are more on your side, Mary, of like, why do you want to be closer together to your neighbor?
I think it's more of a security thing.
Okay.
I never had a lot of land in my growing up. We were always either in an apartment or a townhome, or, a couple times we had homes, but we didn't have anything that had a lot of acreage at all. So
it is so funny because, like, depending on who you ask,
yeah,
that's nuts for security, and the country is where you want to be, where you just like,
For me, in the cut is not where I want to be.
Exactly.
In the dark.
It's complete opposite of like how you're growing up. Like similar to Linden, like I grew up, dead end farm road, upstate New York, middle of nowhere. Like, there were more tractors up and down the road than cars. Couldn't see a neighbor without the leaves, let alone with the leaves. Like 40 plus acres, pond, like
same.
Complete, so like, yes, my dad played softball with like the chief of police, and we could call the cops if like something happened, but like it took a while for them to get there.
Oh, for sure.
So you had to be able to, not that we had like guns everywhere, because we actually didn't, and we were a bunch of hippies. So I didn't even get guns till I moved down here. But it's just like completely different thought process than like any friend of mine who's like, yeah, I live in an apartment building with 2,800 people.
Yeah.
And if I scream, they'll probably all ignore me because it's New York City. And I'm like, I don't know if I want that. Like, it's complete. So security, and then the new construction side, is that like a fear of things breaking, or?
I just never lived in anywhere that was brand new. I've always wanted that.
Oh, okay.
And being able to choose finishes and not have to do so much.
But you wouldn't be able to choose a finish buying a new home. That would be building a home.
Well, yeah. Okay. Depending on what stage it was in, yeah. And I was looking into that too. I mean, I was fine looking into building from the ground too, but
I was not.
You didn't want to build.
I didn't want to wait to build.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, because that's a year plus process.
Exactly.
At least. Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, and I have lived in a brand new built home, and it has more issues than the house we live in now, which was built in 1988.
So that sentence is a big point, and it all comes down to, who company-wise is building that new home, and what standards they are going by. And I mean beyond, like, I mean as well, like building code. Like, the code might say that wall could be 2x4, but a company might want to build it out of 2x6s because it's just a little bit more strength and a little bit more beef. But then there's also the code of like the moral code, where it's like, okay, well, 2 coats of waterproofer is fine. We don't need the 3rd coat. And then 2 years later, when their warranty only lasts for a year, something leaks. So I'm definitely not blind to that corners being cut in new construction, materials get a little shittier and a little cheaper, and the wood framing in your 100-plus-year-old home is like true and thick and original beams and tight grooves, and it will remain stronger, pending there isn't some big like leak or whatever. But there are some old houses, especially here where the winters are not as crazy. There are some old houses that are standing the test of time 100, 200 years later.
Well, and that's what I wanted, the 100-year-old house.
Yeah. Well, so but the end, that goes back to like that's being your, when you think of homey.
Yes.
Like your hot chocolate in front of the fire is in the 100-year-old farmhouse. Like, and there is such a charm to that too, especially because most people, at least today, when they want to buy a 100-year-old farmhouse, they also have an extreme excitement to do work on it little by little, piece by piece. So you said you met in the middle with the car garage. You got the.
Well, it's detached. It's not detached.
But did you really meet in the middle? Because it's just a cat playground.
At the moment, yes. I have big dreams for that garage, but at the moment, it is not much.
We'll build you a carport one day for the actual car.
Just for being able to be dry when you're unloading the car, or rain, snow. It's nice.
Oh, trust me, I get it.
Nice.
I had to sacrifice my garage to make it into a shop, but then I built that carport as soon as I could, because it's like when you really arrive home in a rainstorm, to be able to duck through the garage and up and in, like, truly is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd love to talk a little bit about, like, if you can remember it when it was like 6 years ago, but like the closing process a little bit. So you find the home, you fall in love with it. Is it an instant fall in love?
Well, it was actually really funny because we almost didn't even look at it.
Oh.
Because it was technically over our max.
Okay.
So it was listed at
$214.
$214. So we almost didn't look at it, but we were like, well, we can expand a little bit. I mean,
there's a negotiation always. Yeah.
So we're like, we'll go look at it, but we scheduled it really quickly. It was one of those days that we had just kind of back-to-back appointments, and that one was just sort of shimmied in. So we spent 10 minutes in the house, maybe 15.
Yeah,
we literally ran through the house.
Yeah.
And we got home that night and we couldn't stop talking about it. So we messaged Ginger and we were like, we really want to go see that house again. Like, can we go check that one out again? And we
really walked through it
and really spent some time with it. And then my parents actually came up to see the house too, because my dad just kind of knows, he's been a part of building homes before. He just knows more about that kind of thing than we do. So he came up with my mom and they came with us. And we decided that day to put in an offer.
Yep.
It was the next day, right?
Might have been the same day.
Was it the same day?
The similarity of our stories is odd.
Really?
Yeah, because I looked at this house. It was one that came up last minute.
Yeah.
I saw it the day it got listed. My parents happened to be in town visiting. We walked through it a second time with them and my brother. My brother's in the attic. We're trying to find something wrong.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments where we're like, the liking of the house has been checked off a while ago. Now we're trying to find what's wrong.
Yeah.
And we just kept not being able to find what was wrong. We're just like, okay, go look over there. Look in the attic. Look in the crawl space.
Right.
So and then it was my dad who just went, we will give you the $5 or $10,000 that this is over your budget, because you can't let this one go.
Yeah.
And when he said something like that, and I was like, okay, done. Let's make it happen. Yeah.
And our house had been on the market for 5 days, which in the time that we were looking at houses, it was insane that it had been that long that it hadn't sold. So we really thought there was something wrong with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because nowadays,
we really looked for it.
Yeah, because nowadays, houses last 4 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, and for people who are looking at houses, normally the longer something's been on the market, there's a reason. It's either there's a problem, it's a bad location, or it's the price issue.
Yes.
So someone's if they want to get $100,000 more than it's worth, and it's just not moving, and you see it's been listed for 9 months, that's usually a key one.
Well, then we got really lucky after that too, because we put in an offer. I think we put in an offer for 208.
I think so.
And they took it, or they countered at 210 or 212 maybe. I can't remember. So we put in an offer at 208. They countered a little bit higher. So then we got the inspection done, or the appraisal done. And the appraisal came in at 204. And because of the way that we had financed everything, we couldn't go over whatever the appraisal was. Right. So we sent that back to them with sort of like a plea of, you know, this is as high as we can go. Is there any chance you'll consider it? And they were just really desperate to get back to where they were from. They moved down here for a grandchild.
I know. They're from Oneonta, where I went to college.
I know.
I could not believe that shit.
Nobody is from there.
I walked up. I saw that house was for sale, and I was like, hey, can I ask what you sold it for? And he for some reason wouldn't give me a number, but he said, we got what we needed out of it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, and I was like, you know, what are, you know, just going on one of my walks.
Yeah.
And I was like, so where are you guys going, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, you know, gave me that whole story, and we're moving back up to New York. I'm like, oh, I'm from New York. He's like, oh, you don't know where we're from. I'm like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, we're moving back up to Oneonta. And I was like, Oneonta? You mean where Hartwick College is? Yeah, Brooks Chicken. Yeah, Sal's Pizza. Like, I just kept rattling off places. And it was like, and then it turns out he's a woodworker.
Yeah.
And I'm a woodworker. He gave me a tour of the shop when it had all the tools in it. And I was just like, oh, my God, this is heaven. Like, whoa. He had like spindle sanders and lathes, and oh my God, I was like in heaven. It was so crazy. And then you guys move in, and we become friends, and it was like, I like spotted you walking a dog that wasn't even yours. So weirdly, like, puppy, from like down the driveway. The love of dogs. It's so ridiculous. Yeah.
Brings people together.
It's true. Yeah. So let's jump a little bit. I know there hasn't been a tremendous amount, but you have done some stuff to the house.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about things that you have done to the house, either that you've had to hire out, or I know you guys have done more than average than the average couple. You've done a lot of it yourself.
Linden has done a lot of it herself.
Okay. Well, Linden has done a lot of it herself.
I've helped.
Yes, you have.
Assisted.
Moral support?
No. Some physical labor, too.
Can wipe up grout so well. She is so good at it.
You are a sponger. Mary the sponger.
She is the best sponger.
The sponger. Hey, that's crucial. That's crucial. Okay, so if you grouted, you tiled.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, didn't I lend you my tile saw?
Yes.
Okay, right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we bought one, and it broke immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't remember this at all.
No, we bought one. It broke immediately. And I'm pretty sure I texted you in tears. Do you have one? Because we need to work on this today. And like, we need to work on this today. And you were like, yeah, I've got one. You can borrow it. All right, cool. You're like, it's in the garage. Go get it. I was like, oh, okay.
I think I wasn't even home.
No, you weren't.
I think I was like, just open the garage, like a key under the whatever. Yeah. So I think we had talked about that floor before you even decided to go with tile.
Yeah.
And it's a sun porch.
Yeah.
So it's an addition to the house that was added on.
Not by the two of you, but it was just like kind of like a screen. What did you call it? A sun porch? Right. Okay. Because it's not a screened in.
No, it's not screened in.
And it's not heated.
No.
Correct. It's like a 3 seasons.
So an interesting concept of like no heat and air, but not a screened in.
Yes.
But the window's open.
Well, and
So
there's, it's
breeze.
almost all windows. There's, what are there?
It's like a solarium almost.
There's 7 windows in that room, and it's not very big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not very big. That's true. It is pretty cool though when it's like if you want to read there or like have a cup of coffee and just.
It has become the dog mud room, which breaks my heart because we spent so much time working on that room, and it is just it is
leashes and mud.
Just mud.
It rains a lot.
And I foster dogs now.
Yeah.
So when they need like a safe, quiet space, like that's ideal for that. So it ends up being a dog room a lot of the time.
Well, you tiled it, so that's perfect for dogs because it's, stain proof and break proof and all that. So tiling that floor.
It was carpet.
It was carpet. Okay. So you pull that up yourself. Yeah. That's not that hard to rip that out. And then you're like, okay, I want to tile the floor. Had you tiled the floor before?
I had helped my dad tile like 2 rows of tile
2 rows.
in a bathroom.
So we're gonna go with no.
I had seen a tile saw.
Oh, you had watched YouTube. No.
No, I had touched a tile saw.
I have watched this old house. I can do it. Okay. So that like
Bold is the word you're looking for.
Bold. Yeah. Aggressive. Bold.
Insane.
Either one.
We didn't know any better. We didn't know any better.
There's just the point I was going to make is there's just like there's a lot of steps from like no experience to small do-it-yourself tackleable job instead of jumping 5 notches to I want to tile a floor on an angle.
Wild enthusiasm.
Like for real. Yeah.
And I kept still on a high.
I kept like politely kind of hinting like, my tile guy could knock this out for $200, $300 or whatever. Like you're like, nah, not having it. Like,
I really wanted to do it. That was one of the reasons I wanted an older house. That's one of the reasons I did not want a new house, because I wanted to do things that would make it ours. So when we moved into the house, we have 2 cats. Mary's allergic to cats. We attempted to make that room the cat room.
Okay.
They did not go for that.
So now they have the garage.
Yes.
Right.
And the porch.
The cat palace.
Exactly.
So, okay.
So then it was like, well, it's our house, and like I really want to do something that like makes it feel like we like put our stamp on the house, because we hadn't really done anything yet. And we had just bought the house, so we just spent a ton of money, and the idea of hiring someone to do something that I was very sure we could do ourselves.
Well, obviously you could because you did. So
yeah, I didn't know any better.
Probably didn't pick the right month of the year to do it. It was blazing hot.
Yes, considering there was no heat and air in that room, you could have waited till September. And then I think I was trimming out the baseboard, and it was 111 degrees in there that one day.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I think you just gave up at that point. You were like, I want this done.
I also knew I didn't know enough to do that.
Okay. See, the funny thing is that's easier.
Oh, turns out I didn't know a lot of things.
Like, that's so much easier than tile work. And you were like, I don't know enough about that, but I'm going to tackle the tile. Okay, so tile. What else? What's the next thing you did?
We've done a lot of painting.
A lot of paint.
Okay.
We did some wallpaper.
Ooh, I hate wallpaper so much.
Oh, I love it.
But it's worth the effort. Like, the results are so.
Yeah.
I'll be fair. To be fair, I only hate wallpaper because I've had to remove it. I've never bought myself nice wallpaper to put up for me.
Yeah.
That's a different feeling that I've never experienced. So I gotta be fair.
Yeah.
I have bought enough houses where it's like, we can't demo that wall, but we got to take the wallpaper down. It's like, bro.
I hear that's horrible.
You rent like a steaming machine and
That's
it never peels right, and it's the worst. Keaton Wright, if you are listening to your younger brother right now, the labor of love that Emma and I went through for your college house in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Oh, God, so much wallpaper. Emma knows. Shoot, peel it off. It was like the piece would be like, a paint chip, one tiny piece instead of like a whole sheet.
Well, we found out after we started painting that basically our entire downstairs had been wallpapered at some point, and it's just been painted over.
Oh, you're just painting over
so
the
many
wallpaper.
Times, but we didn't know until we started painting, and by the time we realized, because again, we've never done any of this before, and by the time we realized what was going on, we figured out it was wallpaper under there, but there's wallpaper under almost every single layer of paint in that house.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess, well, I mean, you're in a, construction / material time machine.
Yeah.
Which is also a cool thing about that kind. If you ever decide, if and when you decide to do some serious construction, as you demo stuff, you'll literally be able to peel back decades of material and be like, oh, 20 years ago it was that wallpaper, 40 years ago it was lathe, 80 years ago it was whatever, and types of electricity probably are different in that house, I'm sure.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of painting, wallpaper fiasco, and you put wallpaper up, right?
Yes.
Okay, you put wallpaper up. The tile we mentioned.
I changed out a sink. I did that one by myself.
Changed out a sink, like a bathroom sink?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a pedestal sink.
Because I was gonna say,
Took
I
out the
got
pedestal.
really frustrated with
sink,
it one
okay.
day, and I was mad about something, and I was just like, you know what, this sink is coming out.
did you put in like a real vanity with a sink on top
Yeah.
of it? Yeah, nice. You just gotta get like a whole kit at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Type of deal. Yeah, they're relative. Those kits are, I have to say, like we sometimes even we use them.
Oh, and it was the floor model, so it was already put together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh no,
for the
they
most
come
part.
like that.
And we got a crazy good deal on it because it has like the tiniest little like imperfection
So
on
you got
the
like a
back side of it.
Yeah.
So it was like a $300 or $400 sink. I think we got it for $80.
and it's the perfection's on the back.
Oh yeah, you can't even see it.
Okay.
Yeah,
It was at Lowe's, I think.
I think so.
Swoosh.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, that's
Love
awesome.
a good deal.
Yeah.
Love a good deal.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say like there are lots of times when it's like we buy a legit cabinet and then my countertop guy puts a top on it and then we go buy a sink from somewhere else and we make it.
Yeah.
But then there are tons
of
of times when we see one at Home Depot and it's like, oh, the thing's $700 and it comes with the handles, the mirror, the faucet, the top, the sink, the cabinet, and it's literally like in one box.
Yeah.
It'll take me a tube of silicone and a helper and an hour to take it out of the box, completely put it together, screw it to the wall, and then my plumber hooks up that sink, done. And it's like, I mean, sometimes it really just is easy. It's just like these big box chains, like they sell a lot of crap, but sometimes they sell some stuff that really does just, you don't always need some crazy professional to do something like that.
Well, and we looked at having kind of a custom one made, but the one that we ended up finding was almost exactly everything that we had already picked out that we wanted done. So it felt dumb to pay like
Double.
it turns out it would have been because we got it for $80.
Oh, because you got such a discount on
We
the
got such a crazy
chipped
discount,
one
yeah.
that it would have been quadruple or whatever.
at least.
Yeah. Okay. So half a bathroom reno. Okay.
And then
What else?
mirrors, lights,
lighting,
a lot of lights.
installing.
Rooms that didn't have lights or just like swapping fixtures?
Changing out fixtures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fixtures.
Just making it your own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Gotcha.
porch fixtures,
Porch fixtures.
over the stairs, the big one, up the top of the stairs and the landing, one in the bathroom, the half bath.
I swapped both my bathroom vanity lights and then basically my whole house. I was like, I had my electrician come over and I was like, take all the lights off the fans and put recessed lights in the ceilings. I hate this. Like, what's going on? Not in here, obviously, but like in the living room and the bedroom. There's like, and they're on dimmers. So that like completely changed everything.
We actually have a ceiling fan sitting on our dining room table right now
Yep,
that we'll be
that's
putting
next.
in sometime soon, maybe Sunday.
Next.
They're not that hard.
No.
3 wires, 2 screws, usually, once you put the fan together.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes depending on the model you bought, could be annoying, but they're usually instructions.
But the one that we have in there right now is awful. So we've hated it since we moved in.
Yeah.
And we've
Every
talked shit
6
about
years.
it since we moved in.
All the stuff you've done, you haven't swapped one
and
fan.
we haven't swapped out one fan.
You hired me to do like $300 of patch wood work
Yeah.
and no fan swap.
Nope.
No. This will be the trial for putting in fans on the porch. I want to do that too.
Yeah, we haven't done anything with a fan box yet. So
Yeah.
Wait, so there is a fan and you're just swapping them, or there is no fan and there will be a fan?
there is a fan and we're swapping.
Yeah, this
them.
is
Okay.
the
But on
living
the
room right now.
porch,
You could do it.
On the porch, we don't know if there's a fan box or not. So we'll see.
So when you look up, there's just nothing?
No, there's a
two.
cover, but
Oh.
we haven't ever like taken the cover off. and looked.
Okay.
So
If
it's
there's
either a space for a fan or it's a space for a light, but we haven't looked at it.
right, but it's an electrical box
Yes.
of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's in that solid ass wood ceiling.
Yeah.
So you can definitely put a fan no matter what. Like even if if it's not a fan box that you can attach the fan to, just rotate the fan and screw the fan into the wood because you don't have crappy sheetrock, or not crappy. You don't have weaker sheet. You got solid wood soffit. Like it's not even 1/2-inch ply. It's like real solid, tongue and groove. So you just screw the fan right into that and you'd be fine. So
Okay.
yeah. See, this
Look
is
forward to that phone call later.
Yep. Now you
In
know.
like 6 more years when we finally decide to do it.
Okay, so what have you hired out? I know you hired me to do that. Like there was like a little bit of wood rot that we like ripped down. I had to rip some ply and nail it back up, and then you were like, I can paint it to save some money.
Yeah.
It was only like a couple $100. And then I think I've given you maybe my roofer, maybe my gutter guy's info. I'm not sure what subs I've given you. So what work have you had done?
We had the roofer come and do some patchwork.
Just like shingle.
And then he did, and then he I think he replaced all the flashing around the chimney.
Yeah.
And then he resealed the chimney.
Like, do you guys use the chimney?
No.
No, we don't.
Do you enjoy the fireplace?
It is a wonderful place for all of my plants to live. So no.
So no.
No.
I like the look of it.
Yeah, it looks
It's
nice.
just not necessary, really, in Durham.
Well, I just was curious because, like, chimneys are arguably the number one leak point on a roof, and you could keep the visual fireplace and put plants in it, but brick off the chimney right to the line of the roof and patch over it with shingles. And just when you look up, there's no chimney, but when you're inside the house, there's a faux fireplace kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, we definitely have some issues going on with the chimney, like slowly separating from the house too. That we found out about recently. So
Yeah, we're really excited about that.
I'm sure I don't have to remind you that that is more serious than you want to acknowledge.
We know. Yeah. We've gotten it, so it's been sealed again, and the seal is holding for now. But we recently had bats.
Yes.
And that's how we found out about all of this.
Yep.
Is we had. Have I not told you about this? Oh yeah. So I walked out of the bathroom at
you forget that there was a pandemic.
Yeah.
We used to have dinners like every 6 weeks, and then a pandemic happened, and I like see you waving when we walk by. So like, no, I didn't hear about the bats.
Oh yeah. So
that was a night.
I walk out of the bathroom at about midnight. Open up the
Plural.
door.
You said bats.
Oh, I know. Open up the door, and there's one directly in front of my face flying around. So I slam the bathroom door, and I'm like, there's no way that was a bat. There's no way. So I open up the door again, take a real good look. I'm like, no,
my mind is playing
definitely
tricks.
a bat. I was like, it's got to be a moth. There's no way there's a bat. So I open it again. There's definitely a bat. It's flying around. I was like,
freaking Dracula up here.
Oh yeah.
My goodness. It was horrible.
So I screamed downstairs to Mary, because she's downstairs in the downstairs bedroom. Asleep. So I'm screaming. I don't have my phone.
She runs up the steps in her Batman outfit, just like, what?
No, she locked the door and left me up there. Are you kidding me?
Definitely did not run up the stairs. It's like, there's a what? There's a what?
You're like, I gotta go to work, honey. See you later. I gotta go make cheesecake.
Yeah, and it was a night where I had to get up at like 4:30 the next morning for work. So I was out. So I just wake up to screaming.
Literal screaming.
Like, oh my God, somebody's breaking into the house. But it was
I feel
worse.
like I would rather an intruder than
Same.
a bat. I feel like I would rather an intruder than a bat.
It was crazy.
That's like some real rabies potential.
Oh,
like,
and we have 3 dogs.
Yeah.
Right. Not good. Just
Yeah.
all bad.
Yeah.
All
many
of this is
things.
bad. What did they do?
The dogs?
Yeah. Did they even move?
Amos
I feel like
slept
Willie would
through
have
it.
slept through it. Yeah.
Sherwood lost his mind, and Maggie is now deaf as a post. So, and we had a foster too, didn't we? We had Gus.
Oh, Gus.
Did we?
We
I
did
like
have
Gus.
Gus.
That's right.
I mean, I like all your dogs, but Gus
He was
a good one.
beautiful.
Yeah, Gus was beautiful.
So I had to Google animal control. This is around midnight.
Yeah.
Animal control,
I'm
like
like,
the
what am I
city,
gonna
like
do?
the Durham city
Yeah. I'm
animal
I'm like,
control.
who am I going to call for a bat in my house at midnight? So I start Googling on my phone because Linden doesn't have her phone.
Nope. Or any clothes.
And I call them, and they say, oh, well, before we send anyone out, we have to verify that it's actually a bat. And the way we do that is by sending the sheriff out. So you have to call Durham PD to have them come out and verify the existence of said bat. So that was the next phone call, is calling them. They show up.
Yes, the face that you're making
Yes.
is exactly the same one that we made.
I was just I would have been like, can we just hit the FaceTime button real quick? Like,
Right.
what the hell?
It gets better. Neither,
So now the sheriff showed up at midnight
again,
or whatever?
neither one of us has on any clothes. And we don't have access to any without braving the bat.
Oh, the bat is in between
The
you and
stairwell.
clothes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's in
The bat is
stairwell.
between the two of us,
So
and
what,
also
you just
between
grab
us
a
and clothes.
tablecloth? And
No, what I did was I got very, very brave, And I reached out, and our dirty laundry hamper is right outside the bathroom door. So I grabbed that. I chucked some clothes over to Mary.
She threw them over the
I threw them like over the railing downstairs. I like just grab whatever I can find out of there.
And I'm like, I don't think I can open the door. I physically don't think I can actually open the door.
So you guys are traumatized because you lived through it. I, as a fan of stand-up comedy, are like, this is a tight 10-minute bit that could be
I'm
worked
sure.
on. This is like an opener at Good Night's Comedy Club could tell this story. Like, this is hysterical.
So,
and then the officer shows up, and he comes to the front door, and Mary opens up the window downstairs and says, can you just climb in through the window because I don't want to open the front door because I don't want to open this bedroom door because I don't want to be near the bat. And he says, ma'am, I'm not going to do that. I need you to come open up the door.
I'm like, give me a minute. And I close the blinds. I'm like, fuck. No, I can't open the door. I'm like, okay.
And I'm screaming from upstairs.
Let's go to the back
Baby,
door. Wait a minute.
No. We were just shut.
You have 4 doors.
We were shut away from the bat, though.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm like,
we had surrendered the rest of the house to the bat.
I was talking to
he
our
lives
dog.
here now. We live in this one room. We're going to have to, this is the kitchen corner.
Yep.
I was talking to our dog, Sherwood, because he was in the bed with me. I'm like, Sherwood, help Mama be brave and tell her she can go open the door without getting attacked by a bat.
And I'm screaming from upstairs, baby, you have to open the door.
Like, I know.
You have to.
I know the cop is standing at the front door. So, like, run, open it. Unlock it, round back and say, it's open.
You don't even open it for him.
No,
hit the
this
deadbolt.
poor man.
Oh, my goodness. Poor me.
Poor all of us. But this poor man is like, these lunatic women have brought me here to kill me. I mean, like.
It was bad.
So then I open up the bathroom door at the top of the stairs, peek out at him, and I'm like, hi, officer. And I'm like sitting on the ground, like trying to hide from the bat. Anyway, so then we had to search the entire house for this stupid bat, which we can't fucking find.
Right.
Never did find it.
Hopefully it went on its little bat way and we're not going to find its corpse in 5 more years.
Oh my God, that's the end of the story?
Oh, no. Then we had to spend like $3,000 getting our attic and everything debatted.
Yeah. They had to come out Terminix and
debatted.
they put vents
and
up on
sealed
the gables and that way they can get out, but they can't get back in.
But it's illegal to do that during bat breeding season.
That's correct.
So, yeah, exactly.
We learned so much
making
that
this
night.
up.
I swear to God.
We learned so much.
That is
that
North
night.
Carolina law. You cannot do that during bat breeding season, which had ended 1 week before this all happened. And I was like, so if it hadn't ended, we would have to just live with bats until...
Because you can't kill them.
You're not allowed to kill them. And if you trap the babies inside, you're effectively killing them. So, yeah, it was traumatizing.
I didn't realize that when I started designing my future house that has no crawl space and no attic, that I was doing it for the bats. Until now. I just realized that's why I'm doing it.
You are.
Yeah. I'm going to build a utility room so I just don't have an attic or crawl space.
Yep.
And then there will be nowhere for the bats to go.
Well, and you've seen our house. So we don't have like a traditional attic.
You mean your basically Hogwarts 2.0 house?
Yes.
Yes.
But we don't have like a
doors?
traditional attic at all. So when we're talking about the bats in the attic, you can't actually get there. There's no access point to that. You only can get into that like what are they called? Eaves?
Eaves,
yes.
right?
Eaves?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who designed that house.
I kind of love it.
I mean, I know you do.
Lots of storage.
There's
so much storage.
Lots of storage. Yeah. You could just like store, I mean, you could hide and store stuff all over that house.
We
It's
do.
ridiculous. Yeah. From each other, I'm sure.
Bodies, whatever.
Tons of bodies. Yeah.
Bat bodies, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Batman's actually working underneath your house in all the
If
nooks
he
and
were,
crevices.
that would make this way cooler.
What an ordeal.
That would make the awfulness of that whole story awesome. But instead, it's just all bad.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
all my coworkers, I was working at my new job whenever all this was going down. I was telling all my coworkers about it, and they now just send me Batman memes randomly.
My God! Of course. I mean, that's a sign of good coworkers.
Oh yeah,
though.
they're
I mean,
great.
that's what you need. Yeah, yeah. You don't want a bunch of oh my God, that sucks. You just want Batman memes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't get any sleep that night.
Yeah.
Sure. Never
I'm surprised
did.
you didn't go to
and never
did
Jessica's
go
house.
back to sleep.
And then we pull all of the dogs into the one room that we know is safe. So we were sleeping with Gus, who is our foster puppy, who was very, very sick and not entirely in control of all of his bodily functions. Maggie, who is 14 years old, blind and deaf. Amos, who is 90 pounds and a bed hog. And Sherwood, who sleeps with us regularly, but is also a 70-pound pit bull. So, like, and it's not a big room.
Sounds cozy.
It was warm. We were very warm.
Never found the bat.
Nope.
Never
That's the
found
worst
the
part of the
bat.
story.
Wow. I was really waiting for him to be like, okay, verified, next.
Nope.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. He just walked around the house with me for literally like an hour looking for this bat. And also, one of the most attractive men I've ever met in real life. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I look like a disaster. My wife is screaming from inside of a locked bedroom.
So
And
sorry.
this knight
And
in
is
shining
asking
armor.
you
wants
to
it.
climb through windows to get into the house.
Yeah, when I opened up the blinds and saw him, like, oh man, this sucks. Very attractive gentleman. Like, oh, this is embarrassing.
I don't know why that made it worse.
I was
know,
gonna say
but it
somehow
did.
somehow
It
it's
somehow made it
better
worse.
if he's an ugly guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Even
a
to
woman.
lesbians,
If
I
we
don't
wanted
know.
it to be a woman.
Okay.
I
yeah.
guess. I don't know.
I haven't had a terribly large encounters with the sheriffs, mostly break-ins on my project houses, and it has always been a man. I haven't
Hurt.
seen any lady sheriffs. I've seen some lady Durham cops, though. Yeah,
Oh man,
but I don't know about the distinction.
what a
on
night.
the-
Memories.
I'm shocked you didn't just like blow out to Jessica's
I'll
house.
wanted
burn the
to.
house to the ground. We talked
I
about
wanted
it.
No, just blow out to Jessica's house and crash on her couch or something.
We did talk about it.
Like, we're gonna do with 4 dogs.
What are we going to do with 4 dogs?
Leave a bowl of food and they'll be good. No,
Oh
I'm
my
just kidding.
goodness.
Okay, so anything else you do to the house?
I think that's the
I
high
feel
point.
like it's irrelevant
Yeah.
now after the bat
Well,
story.
they come out and they're like, you have multiple bats. You
Yeah.
have a lot of bat activity. Like, oh, that's
Bat
great.
activity.
Who knew
Oh, yeah.
how long they had been there? Who knew?
Did he make any fun Batman jokes, or was he all professional?
No, he was very nice because I was.
Well, I'm sure he was nice, but was he all strictly
No,
professional?
he was very
Oh,
professional.
darn.
No, it was
I just
great.
feel like if
I
you're an
needed,
exterminator for a living
At
and you're
that
dealing with
moment,
bats,
I needed professional. He read the room very well.
good. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I guess
But
if
no.
he came to my house, he'd like put on a Batman wig because he'd know
I
that I'd
think-
want it.
The biggest project we did was the fence you put in.
The fence I put in.
Yeah. Well, the biggest project that has been done to the house since we moved in, I think that was the biggest one.
So, remind me, because I thought I built the fence for Jessica.
You built a fence for Jessica, the 5-foot tall fence that, by the way,
Yeah.
her dog can now escape.
What?
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
She can climb it.
That's not my fault, though.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay, just checking.
That's just Jessica's dog
well,
is crazy.
Well, that's.
She's super fun.
Oh, the front
The
fence.
front
Yeah,
fence.
oh, yeah, the useless fence. Yes,
It looks very nice.
it's so useless.
It's all about the
Yeah.
farmhouse vibe that
Yeah.
we got going on.
The fence that doesn't like stop anything or hold
Just-
anything in.
It holds
That's for aesthetics.
Ashley's dog in.
The purely aesthetical, except
That's it.
there's no gate on the side
Yes.
by the right. The one that just is you have to
It's
weed
just
whack
the-
around. Yeah.
Oh, we're at Linden and Mary's house.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
fence.
I don't even know
Okay,
what's
but
that
do you
fence
remember-
called.
Split rail.
Split
Split rail,
rail.
that's right.
That was my first split. It's my only split rail.
Oh, really?
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
I haven't. Not a lot of. I guess not a lot of people in the city of Durham want a split rail fence. Because I mean, all joking aside, it would not really stop a dog.
Oh,
'cause
it's
you have no
worthless.
gate, and it is an annoyance for like the lawn person who can't mow there. He has to
Yes.
weed whack, and I don't even. We didn't even put it in cement.
Mm-mm.
We just put it. We just ripped out the old one and put it in the new
Yeah.
one. Yeah. I remember that now.
It's all coming back.
Yeah, it's all coming back. A lot of fences in my day. So, okay. So, what is, I guess we'll finish up with what are some of the future big plans for the house?
We have lots of future big
Well,
plans.
actually, I think you will be interested to know we are talking about building a second house.
Yes, we are.
The family land that I was talking about earlier that I grew up on, all
Yeah.
of the land, it is still a working farm. But part of the farm is separate from the rest of it. And my grandma has said that any of the grandchildren who want an acre can have an acre. So we're talking about building a house out where my family lives, just to kind of have like our own space when we go out to visit. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you started like diving into that, or is this just the initial?
on a very, very, very light level.
Yeah.
We've looked at a few A-frame styles that we think would go like with that area really well, but
And this would just kind of be like a vacation home almost.
basically, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Super cool.
Yeah.
And how far away is that again?
About 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours. Okay. It seems strange though to have a vacation home so close.
Yeah, it would also be
But you like your family's there, so it's also like
when it's also like, how often is anyone giving you a free acre?
Yeah.
facts. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
I get
true.
my new construction.
Then you
And
get your
Mary
new
gets her new
construction.
construction
There
site.
you
Gets her
go. You get to
dark,
pick your
dark
finishes. You get
in
to
the
pick
cut.
your fixtures.
Yeah.
In the cut.
Yeah, she gets in the cut. I get new construction. Win-win.
See?
Everybody's
Lots of
happy.
compromising.
Yeah. And you can just you have more acres from more dogs.
No.
No. No. I never thought I'd get a no on dogs from you. That's funny.
Oh, it's only because I think divorce would be the next
Because we're
word.
sitting here, yes, that's right.
How many are you fostering now? 25, 26?
No, we just have one right now. And we're not really fostering. We're
No.
just sort of dog sitting.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't talk for probably like 9 or 10 months, and then out of the blue, I got like an Instagram message from you that was like, "Look at this adorable dog. You want it. You want it. Willie needs a friend." And I was like, "Shit, she's right. It's adorable. Willie does need." No, stop. Like I just had.
He
to...
was one of the most beautiful dogs I have ever been around in real life. Was he not?
I'm
He was
sure.
so pretty.
Yeah, no.
I'm just like
trust
anyone
me.
that I know, please adopt him because he will make your life better.
Trust me, I didn't doubt the dog's awesomeness. I simply doubted my ability to handle
To need a
second
puppy.
Yes, and a puppy.
puppy,
Yeah.
yeah.
And while I was recovering from foot surgery.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's that too.
It was a
There's
lot
that.
for me. Okay. Well, this was awesome. Thank you
you.
so much. Wait, well, you told me you want to build a new house. But
Yes.
what do you want to do to your existing house?
Well, we have the big project that we want to do is actually build an attached 2-car garage
At the current house.
at the
Yes.
current house.
So
And-
like demo the garage and
no,
just
'cause we have
more
plenty of
just
room.
more.
yeah,
So where would
it would
it
actually be
go?
attached to the house where the driveway is now.
Oh, so when you're going straight,
Straight.
just
that
garage there.
The
Right.
side door that everyone actually uses
Right.
instead of the front door.
Yeah.
It would attach there.
So that door would be like you garage to that
Right.
door.
Yes.
That door is now in the garage. That's actually
And,
a
like-
smart move.
And
Yeah.
if, we can figure it all out, what that will also allow us to do is extend the
If-
upstairs.
If you can figure it all out.
I mean,
You
it's
can
a lot.
figure it all
It's
out.
a lot. I will
You
be
know
able
a guy.
to extend the upstairs to match that size,
Yeah.
which would make our upstairs bedroom significantly bigger, and we'd be able to put an ensuite bathroom in there with the only thing that I want, which is a tub that covers your boobs and your knees at the same time.
A tub for a real human.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know what it's like. I've never been in a tub like a real person because they're not big
you're
enough.
a giant.
Yeah. No,
Um,
trust me.
So I
I'm
want
aware.
a really nice big tub.
A nice garden tub.
That's
to
all
go-
she wants.
Yeah.
That's all I
That's
want.
she wants.
But we also, so our current garage, ideally, eventually, and by ideally, I mean, we are actually going to do this. We just
Yes.
have to do it. We are going to turn it into an Airbnb. So it's going to have like a little kitchenette, and we got to put a bathroom in,
And just a place for,
and a place for like
Is
when
there
people come to
water
visit.
and power over there?
mm-hmm.
There's a bathroom over there?
No. There's just water and power. Baby steps, Corbett.
Yeah. No, I did. Everything's easy until the bathroom. Unfortunately, the sewage.
Yeah.
The sewage part's the only part
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
very
I'm
difficult
sure.
because that garage is lower than even the ground floor of your home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just connecting
Right.
the sewage pipe is gonna be the challenge. It might have to be. It might have to. It's it's gonna have to go to a pump and then pumped uphill. Unfortunately, but. That
It's doable.
is doable. It's just an extra expense of a pump because obviously, like in an ideal world, shit flows downhill.
Yes.
But other than that, that's relatively easy and also a great idea.
yeah.
Right?
With
You
Duke
have the
being so
parking.
close.
Great income, not actually attached, no sound
right,
issue.
completely detached.
Just yeah, I mean that's a move. I think that's a great move.
And it has an exit into the backyard, which is fenced. So we could also make it a dog-friendly Airbnb. And as someone who wants to take her dogs with her everywhere, I think there should be more of those.
Yeah. Add another piece of fencing just for that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I have trouble finding Airbnbs that'll let you bring Willie Bear or just bring dogs.
Yeah, because there's always a weight limit too.
Mhm.
Not always. There is sometimes a weight limit also. And none of our dogs.
Right.
that
Yeah,
we take with
Willie's
us.
too big.
Yeah.
Which is funny because what a stupid thing.
Yeah.
Because like the weight of 75 pounds of Willie Bear is irrelevant to how so unharmful to him
Yes.
and objects that he doesn't chew wires or scratch drywall or any of those things. But yet like
Yeah.
a 40-pound Chihuahua could destroy
Oh, the only
wires
Chihuahua.
and baseboards and chew the bottom of a door. Like it's so strange that
the only dog who has ever caused damage to our house is a 20-pound, what is she, Maltese? Something like
I think
that.
so.
Yeah, it is interesting. And this is kind of like all three of us really strong, all that we love all the dogs. We
Yeah.
really do. But it is strange that that's the limit or
Yeah.
that's the rule is
Well,
weight.
then there's some that are like, you can bring your dog, but it can't get on any of the furniture. And it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Okay, sure.
Sure, Dan.
Cameras in the
Yeah,
house,
or
what
like
are
you
doing?
can bring your dog, but it can't be a pit bull. Like
Yeah.
the pit bulls are the nicest dogs ever.
Exactly.
Like what?
Yeah.
Not all of us have Mike Vick's pit bulls. Like some, like geez, like there's some really good pit bulls out there. Yeah.
I mean, I personally think that Sherwood is the best pit bull,
Yes.
but I'm biased.
The baby.
Well,
monster.
Willie Bear's the best pit mix.
There
I
it
thought he
is.
was a lab mix.
He's lab pit.
Oh, okay.
He's a
He's a
Jewish
mix.
wolfhound. Okay,
I would have called him a lab mix.
that's what they called him on Craigslist when I
You're
adopted him.
saying-
A lab mix.
A lab mix.
I bet
yeah.
they did.
And then, because that's what everybody says, but then there's nobody who's looked at his big old blockhead and been like, "There's gotta be." Actually, you know what? It's not the head. It's his it's the brindle.
It's also the like very muscly booty.
So the muscly booty makes sense when you think of him being a Vizsla, which is a super like
Yeah.
his whole shape but thin, and then a lab, which is like if a Vizsla lifted weights, it would be a lab.
Yeah.
Like it would be Willie. But the brindle is on none of them.
Yeah.
So that's where I think he's all three. He's got a little lab. All right, well, sorry, a little pitty.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Probably.
the brindle is so pit bull.
Have you never done a DNA test?
No, I don't know what it would do for me.
Oh, I just wanted to know.
Oh, I didn't care. The love is the same.
Our,
Plus, I like the joke Jewish wolfhound better.
Our lab
way
Great Dane
funnier.
mix turns out to have neither of those things.
Yeah. Who knew?
So, okay, what is he?
He's a Mastiff. Rottweiler, Pit, mostly Mastiff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of surprising.
Right?
That was very surprising.
Yeah. But also, like, so what?
Well, it actually does. So one of the reasons we did it for him specifically is because Great Danes have historically
The
a
worst health.
ton of
Yeah.
health
It's
problems.
true.
And I wanted to know ahead of time. Not that Mastiffs don't, but Danes just,
It is unfortunate that the bigger the dog, the more
Exactly.
the health problems. Yeah.
And-
as a lab lover, there's like their hips usually go
Exactly.
early.
and
Or-
a lot of the things with Danes too are things where the more Dane they have in them, the higher the risk of like all of these different things happening. So we just wanted to know. We just wanted to be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then with Sherwood, I just wanted to know because I'm nosy.
And then I've heard the rumor that like mutts, the like better of all the genes pulls through.
Oh,
So
yeah.
mutts have like lesser health problems
Exactly.
than like a pure
Yep.
breed. Is that just what we say as people who rescue dogs, or is that some truth?
No, there's actually some truth to that. So it's not necessarily that the best genes pull through. Like that is possibly scientifically proven. I'm not sure. But one of the things with mutts is like when you take dogs who are so genetically similar. So like when you take things like poodles and you breed the same poodles over and over and over again, all of those poodles are so much more genetically similar to each other than they are to other dogs. So when you start doing that, you're going to get a lot of recessive genes popping up that give you all of the negative health connotations that go along with that. So like, for example, most recently we had a foster named Poe who is it's called double Merle Australian Shepherd. And what that means is if you breed 2 Merle Australian Shepherds, which is the gray coloring with the black spots on it, that's a recessive gene, but it's the most sought after color for Australian Shepherds. So a lot of people breed those 2 together and don't care about the fact that 25% of the time you get what's called a double Merle. And when you get a double Merle, they are always blind, they are usually deaf, and they're usually white. But that's 25% of the time. And those dogs get disposed of more often than anything else.
So the overbreeding of the like sought after purebred or whatever leads to the genes that we don't want sometimes.
Yeah.
So that people kind of dumbed that down to like flipped the other side of the coin to be like, so the better genes in the mutts must pull through. So it's
and if you think about like the royal families of Europe, constantly marrying each other, and then you end up with a lot of people with hemophilia and like other weird genetic, a lot of frail, but it's the same thing in dogs, especially when you consider irresponsible breeders.
Yeah. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed our
Sorry, this is not a dog not a dog podcast.
It's my podcast and it's our episode, so we can talk about anything. Yeah. Okay, so when's your next dog adoption event? No, I'm just kidding.
Sunday in Cary.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This won't air for several weeks, so that probably won't work out. But let's see. Yeah, for real though. It's not related to construction, but do you have like some dog adoption affiliates or websites or something you want to shout out?
Yeah, I mean, the rescue that I work with is called PIPS, which is Perfectly Imperfect Pups. So it's PIPS Rescue. It's pipsrescue.org. And we focus on, the reason I know things about genetic problems and irresponsible breeders is because we focus on high medical needs dogs or special needs dogs. So we take in the double Merles who otherwise get disposed of because they don't, bring in any money. And we kind of focus on those kinds of dogs. So if anybody's looking for a special dog, pipsrescue.org/adopt.
Pipsrescue.org/adopt. Okay. Well, I appreciate you shouting that out. We like to keep the dogs rescued as much as possible. And just want to thank you both for coming out and coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
This was really fun.
I'm glad you had a good time. I had a great time. We have to do it again.
Yeah.
And maybe when
we have more done, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say when we maybe in the middle of the next project, I'll see how stressful it is.
I'll just come cry into the microphone.
Do you have a saw? All right, thanks again. Bye, everybody.